Hey, what's going on, guys? Richie Fix here, back with another video. Yesterday, we got the teaser for Dan Street Fighter Alpha 3. Today, we get the pre-order. So, we get all the pretty promotional pictures, but did Storm drop the ball? We got a lot to talk about. Let's go. Here he is in all his glory. This is Storm Arena's 4th Street Fighter Alpha 3 character, Dan. Now, looking at everything that we got here, it's a pretty standard release. I'm not seeing anything too out of the ordinary from the typical releases we've gotten so far. It looks like he will come with a total of 2 head sculpts. He's going to get 3 sets of hand, a fireball effect, and a stand. So, everything looks really good here. I like the promotional shot. They give him his action head. They give him his stoic head. But, did they drop the ball? Let's go ahead, look at the rest of the promotional pictures, and I'll kind of talk about my thoughts on this release, when it's coming, what the price is going to be, everything you need to know. Today is the official pre-order launch for Dan, so he is scheduled for Q1 of 2026, so that's going to be one of their first figures they drop for next year. The only place that you can technically get the official pre-order is going to be through Big Bad Toy Store. Now, if you go on AliExpress, eBay, stuff like that, if you're going to buy from a third-party vendor, you can definitely do that. However, Storm does still have their exclusive contract through Big Bad Toy Store, so if you want it at that cheap price, then I'd say go through Big Bad Toy Store, but honestly, if you go through Big Bad Toy Store, I would expect that you'd probably see this figure somewhere closer to the start of Q2 more than Q1. Now, if you're going to pay a little bit extra, then you can definitely probably still get this in Q1. I'm expecting this to probably be released in late January or February, where you can get it from Hong Kong. So that's going to be eBay, AliExpress, some of the different third-party vendors out there that deal directly through Hong Kong. You can probably get it then, but if you're going to want just the standard price, they do have him listed at $29.99. Then you can get him there. So after everything, I mean, it comes pretty close to still $40, because once Big Bad Toy Store charges its tax, the tariffs, and the shipping, it comes out to closer to $40. But I do think that Storm might have dropped the ball on Dan. I think one of the unique things about Dan and why people like him so much as a character is that he's kind of a goof. He's kind of a spoof off of Ryu and Ken, where you could argue that they did the wrong faces for the wrong characters, where we probably should have seen a yelling head sculpt and a stoic face on the Ken, where at least give the smirk to, I mean, Dan is not known, I mean, nobody wants a serious Dan, because we already have that in Ryu and Ken, and you can even argue, like I said, with the faces that they gave Ken, he probably has more of a personality than this Dan, and that's all Dan's known about. I mean, if you look at his Street Fighter Alpha 3 picture, which hopefully I'm showing right now and didn't forget in post-edit, but he's got a goofy face. And even with some of the older figure that Soda put out, they gave him a crying head sculpt. I really thought that they would give him that personality, but to me, it's this is just more like another Ryu or Ken just in a pink gi. They missed the essence of Dan here. And, some of it might not, some of you guys it might not bug you and you'll still take it. I mean, I even like the fireball better with Dan. It's more of an intimidating, if I could talk today. It's Friday. Give me a break. It's, I like the fireball a little bit better with this Dan than I do the Ryu that we got with his Storm Arena figure. So, I mean, I don't know what happened here. I don't know how, in tune Storm is to the actual characters and the personalities and everything, but I feel like everybody kind of knew that Dan was kind of like a goofy character, a fun character that, is more used as a spoof character, but they went full serious Dan here, and I don't know that people really wanted that. So I've seen a lot of people actually tell me that they're going to be now waiting on the Jada Dan, because they think Jada will capture that goofy essence that he usually portrays instead of this, serious, ready to go to war Dan. So I really think, other than that, the figure looks great. I mean, there's no question that this figure's sculpting is, another 10 out of 10 in my opinion, but it's more like you wanted that goofy face, whether it's crying or him making some weird, you can give him the action face, that's fine, but have him making a funny action face, or the weird face that he makes in his character arc on like the profile picture. He's got that weird face. This is all serious, down to business. You'd think this is just another one of the guys that's ready to kick some ass, which Dan is known to do, but not at the rate that nor probably Ryu and Ken do. So it is $29.99, so the prices have steadily increased. Like I said, it really just depends on when you're wanting to get the figure is the price you're gonna pay. Because if you're wanting the figure as early as all the YouTubers and all the content creators that you see on there, you're gonna have to pay the heftier price, and it comes out to closer to $55, $60. Where if you're gonna wait it out, you can do that, but I mean, you're probably only saving about 10, 15 bucks. And if that's worth waiting an extra 2 months, potentially even longer, because if we look at the Ryu situation with Big Bad Toy Store, he was originally supposed to be out in Q2, and now he got pushed all the way to Q3. So it's like, I don't know. I think that whole thing that Storm did with Big Bad Toy Store has just not been the ideal partnership that they were probably expecting. Granted, they weren't expecting tariffs, but I gotta quit using tariffs as an excuse for some of these companies, because every toy company has had to deal, or I should say for the most part, I would feel like most companies have had to deal with tariffs in some sort of way. So I can't keep giving Storm the pass that you know, they're the only ones that have to deal with it. No, everyone's had to deal with it to some capacity. So I can't just, you know, allow them. I don't know about that. Like some of these poses, I mean, even the poses for this Dan, for the promotional shots are not the greatest. Like they're just standard. It's just not as exciting as it would be if he had a funny face. And so I don't know, Storm. This has really been, I guess, only their flaw. I mean, outside of them not being able to get the product out quicker and on time. This has really been I guess the first little blip in the whole process, because I think a lot of people wanted the funny Dan. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times already this video, but I think people had an expectation and were hoping for that character and just didn't get it. So I guess that's another point for Jada that they can capitalize on, where when they build Dan, and you would think Dan would be probably in wave 2 or 3 of Jada's next characters, just because it's an easy fix. You put the color scheme from red and white to pink, you give him the color belt, and you just fix the head sculpt, and you basically got a Ryu Ken body type, just with a couple different head sculpts. So if they can capitalize, I would love to see Jada put 3 head sculpts with Dan. We get a crying, a weird goofy face, and then, you know, you can have a semi-serious one in there like this one, but you know, Storm went full serious, and I think that's really going to be the only downfall and why people would maybe potentially skip this one. Granted, the sculpt is still amazing. It's still going to be a 10 out of 10 figure, but I think, you know, it is what it is now. But a Q1, if you're going to try and get it early, $29.99. I know that these things appear on Storm's websites, but they never actually put one up where you can buy them directly through Storm. They use that more for kind of their promotional on what they've released so far, kind of like a checklist, if you will, because they do keep these specifically to go through Big Bad Toy Store, and then obviously if you want to go through a third party, you can do that. But yeah, this is it. You know, a kind of a letdown in my opinion. I feel like this one was, you know, had some hype to it when we first saw it, but then just didn't, the execution was just not what we wanted. But hey, it's gonna happen. But hey, and I don't know how Storm's gonna get out another head sculpt. Like, how they can't do anything to really, unless they drop a, I guess if they did something like with Jada, where if they did like a con exclusive and then threw a funny head with like a player 2 variant or something like that, that would be their only real way to, you know, kind of save this figure from the first one. So we'll look to see if that maybe becomes a possibility somewhere down the line. I would think it would. They're going to start dropping con exclusives for Storm Arena at some time, probably sooner than later. I would probably expect to start seeing that come 2026. But other than that, that's it. Dan could have been the man, but we fell a little bit short on this one. It's going to happen. But other than that, let me know what you guys think. Are you okay with a serious Dan, or are you going to hold out for Jada? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Richie Figs. Later.
9, 8,